Per one of my favorite movie quotes of all time, here's a theory for you to completely disregard. Or not. Artists are prophets. As creatives of all types strive to attain the level of artist, myself included, writers, filmmakers, painters, actors, sculptors, musicians, and creatives of all kinds endeavor for thousands upon thousands of hours to elevate their craft to the level of art, and to elevate themselves to the level of artist. But what is an artist? I like to believe that artists are prophets because they produce art that is prophetic. Fight Club, for example, rose from the depths of what seemed like depraved vulgarity at the time to art. It prophesized the 2020s, and Gen Z in particular. While Fight Club back in 1999 was a metaphor for the anxieties and disillusionment of Gen X, its themes and depictions of consumerism, anti-capitalism, refusal to work, men's desperate search for meaning, mental illness, acceleration in societal decay, celebration of dystopia, rebellion, and conspiracy for societal scale erasure of debt, as well as an increasing proclivity for terrorism. All that has turned out to be a better reflection of Gen Z, more so than Gen X, especially when you factor in Gen Z's warped therapy culture, which also happens to be a central aspect of Fight Club. Back in 1999, the film was condemned as a socially irresponsible lie, but instead, the test of time has proven it to have been prophecy. Fight Club prophesized that men would struggle to find meaning, that they would struggle with the polar extremes of masculinity, that some would succumb either to a futilely weak, harmless, or outright rejection of masculinity, and that others would overcompensate for their weakness by embracing a toxically strong, oppressive, hyperviolent masculinity. Specifically, Fight Club geniusly prophesized that weak men would be far more dangerous than genuinely strong men, since weak men are often lost, bitter, and smoldering with an underlying resentful rage. Such weak men often seek to fix the world by destroying it in part or in whole, in one way or another, rather than simply fixing and healing their broken selves. Weak men are in no position to save anything, much less the world. Fight Club geniusly prophesized the societal scale level of this dysfunction, as well as the present-day isolation, distrust, and resentment between men and women to the point that they no longer even date, unless you include the casual hookups or the hate-fucking sessions.
My God, I haven't been fucked like that since grade school.
Fight Club prophesies not only men's desperate search for meaning, but that for some men, their search for meaning would include coming to terms with their gender identity, something which has become one of the defining political issues of the 2020s. As the About Movies YouTube channel brilliantly points out, the unnamed protagonist, played by Ed Norton, was in the midst of a gender crisis. The other two main characters were not only non-existent figments of his frayed mind, but rather his alter egos, his subjective idealizations of the male and female genders, which were pulling him in opposite directions. The male alter ego, played by Brad Pitt, was cool, badass, brilliant, uninhibited, good-looking, carefree, fearless, a great fighter, and a total sex god. The female alter ego, played by Helena Bonham Carter, was largely the female version of that. They represented what the protagonist was yearning to be, but was failing to become. He was torn. His journey throughout the film was a pendulum swinging between his two alter egos until the film's end, when he made his choice. Or I mean to say, she made her choice by killing the male alter ego. She had finally transitioned from man to woman as the outside world came crumbling down. A prophetic metaphor for how many in the queer community feel they have no choice but to tear down the existing patriarchal, oppressive, capitalistic attitudes and institutions keeping them down, so to speak. Fight Club also prophesized the urban and societal decay of the 2020s, as well as the numbness, the detachment, and the isolation that would grip many people. It's as if the masses sense that something is very wrong, but can't quite put their finger on what exactly it is that is wrong. They just know it. They can feel it. And that is where Fight Club overlaps with The Matrix. Both films prophesized a bleakly dystopic future. However, The Matrix warned that AI would be the cause of the downfall. Both films were released in 1999 when Gen X apprehensively awaited an uncertain future, already seeing and experiencing the takeover of the world by the big tech juggernauts via the personal computer and the internet. Whereas The Matrix prophesized the late stages of a highly advanced sentient AI dystopic post-apocalypse, Fight Club, on the other hand, likely prophesized the beginning stages of that outcome. That could very well only be the beginning. As AI automation puts much of humanity out of work by the 2030s, most everyone, not only Gen Z, will be in a desperate search for purpose, drifting through life, numbly and listless, while AI does most everything for us, better than we ever could. While AI may eventually usher in a golden age of hyper-productivity and abundance, which would in turn fund the government's universal basic income programs to keep the masses taken care of. But there will be a hideous transition period of mass unemployment and disillusionment that will see a peak dystopic hell, the likes of which are prophesized by Fight Club. It would manifest fully and completely. Ironically, the promised AI utopia paradise may end up being hell, at least at first, as we all finally understand and accept that happiness is a byproduct of challenging, meaningful work and individual achievement, not having every want and need just handed to us by AI automation. If that were to happen, humanity's mental health will decline so precipitously and pathologically, and our therapy culture will become so warped that the dystopic prophecies made by Fight Club will finally manifest fully and universally, as that will be the only means by which we feel anything, either by sobbing uncontrollably in the arms of an empathetic support group or engaging in hate-fucking sessions with those we don't particularly even like, or ritually harming each other as part of a warped therapy cult, just to feel something again. In 1999, Fight Club was condemned as a socially irresponsible lie. Instead, the test of time has proven it to have been prophecy, more so with each passing decade. That is who we are now. That is our reality. Look to the artists of today for their prophecies about where we go from here, about what looms tomorrow, about who will we be as a society next decade, the decade after that, and the decade after that. Because artists are prophets. This is Ed Diamante with Cold Rock Arts, author of the Slayer anthology Horror Saga. I am just a writer, striving to one day elevate my work to the level of art. Thank you for watching and joining me on my journey. I'll see you in the next video.